I'm not gonna lie, I care, like, really bad. I really do care about you, Eugenia.
Thank you.
I'm really worried for you and scared.
Oh no, Drexel,
And I don't want anything to happen to you.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Are you ready to go preppy in a wonderful, wonderful way? My little creature, isn't she beautiful? It's a transformation.
This is Eugenia Cooney, a creator whose appearance has drawn widespread concern and discussion across the internet. In this video, we'll look at the circumstances and choices that shape the controversies around her, and how her visibly low weight became such a focal point. Eugenia has built a big brand for herself with millions of followers across all platforms, about 7,500 followers on Instagram, more than 2 million subscribers on YouTube, and around 2.8 million followers on TikTok. Eugenia Sullivan Cooney, born on 27th of July 1994 in Massachusetts, spent most of her childhood in the northeastern United States. Eugenia's school years were far from easy. She struggled to make friends and endured frequent bullying.
A lot of people I went to school with were just really not nice to me, so I just did not really have the best experience.
This forced her to switch schools multiple times, but during those times, she was able to make a friend with someone.
My first friend was a girl named Emma City, and I used to take ballet classes, so I met her in ballet.
Eventually, she chose an alternative path, completing her high school education online through Connections Academy, where she graduated in 2012. Rather than following the traditional classroom route. In her late teens, Cooney gave modeling in New York a try, but when an agency told her to raise her online presence, she realized it wasn't the path for her. She left modeling behind and poured her energy into creating content on YouTube.
She was kind of strange with stuff, like she literally thought I shouldn't even be on the internet. She was like, oh, you don't want to be Googleable, it's bad to be on Google.
In this particular video, she talked about her experience as a model and how she was able to get into the industry. She also shared a somewhat disturbing thought about the modeling world.
I had this modeling agency lady. There was actually a lot of sketchy stuff with it, so I'm not going to get too into that, but yeah.
Well, we've all heard about a lot of scary stories or funny conspiracy theories about the fashion and the modeling industry. Maybe that's what she's referring to after all. People reacted well to this video, but some showed concern. Some showed concern for her because she seems like a very relatable and kind person. One person even commented on her old photos, "She looks actually amazing there. She was healthier, natural, and beautiful. And of course, she hates it now. It's so sad." And this is what the person is referring to.
I always even find the looking at pictures of myself from a couple of years ago to just be really cringy.
If she looked really good back then and wasn't as skinny or unhealthy as she is now, why would she find those images cringy? Does it mean she thinks her current look is the best? Who could have convinced her that she looks better or healthier now compared to then? So many questions, but we will try to find answers to all of them in this video. Someone else came to her defense, saying, to everyone saying that she looked so much better then, she wasn't healthy then either. Just because she didn't look as scary then as she does now, doesn't mean she wasn't struggling with an ED then as well. While that sounds true, it's important to note that the underlying issue is what people are worried about. They feel she needs to focus on recovery, and for someone who thinks that looking healthier is cringy, it seems she wasn't ready for the recovery. People also noticed that while she gave positive comments to her stylist and cameraman,
I did with the photographer in New York. His name was Alan, I'm pretty sure. And I actually really liked his idea for these pictures.
She bashed herself in all of her old photos. How can the cameraman be good, the idea and the concept be good, yet the only problem you see in this picture is yourself?
Here, I kind of look like I'm like with the smoke, and I just look like really scary here. I don't even know where to begin, but I just look really scary.
Maybe she looked a little scary in the picture, but that was the whole point of the image. It was meant for her to portray that character, saying that she looked like she was on drugs, or that she looked very different back then is ironic because she obviously thinks she looks better now. She didn't really think positively of herself back then.
I just look terrible because I was just so cringy, and like, it's always just so weird for me to like look at my old pictures. I'm always like, oh, I looked so bad.
Her situation is similar to that of a big-sized body positivity advocate who is clearly on a health-risking path but is being convinced by friends, family, and even therapists that they look amazing just to make them feel good about themselves and avoid sounding offensive.
So this is another one I took with the photographer. I look really bad here. This is just one where I'm like super natural.
Some people feel those who are trying to help Eugenia see herself in a positive light and seek help might be a bit too harsh and intrusive. And these people also think that she should be left alone to making her own content and be happy no matter what, regardless of the situation. But here's why it might be unwise to support such delusions and make her feel good about her real body and tell her that she is healthy as she appears. And one person shared their real life incident.
My baby cousin follows you. She stopped eating dinner because she thinks your incredibly low weight is normal. It's not your fault that you're unwell, but as a public figure, you have a responsibility to the millions of young, vulnerable kids.
This is what most people are worried about. Eugenia might be a lovely person to relate to. Kids will find her sweet and would want to follow her as a matter of fact. But let's not forget that kids would also like to emulate the person they look up to, which can be a bit harmful. But what could be the reason behind Eugenia's mentality? To understand that, let's take a deeper dive into her background.
Eugenia was raised mainly by her mother, Debbie Cooney, who was close to her than her father, Kevin Cooney. Her mother previously worked as a party planner, but became a stay-at-home parent after Eugenia was born. Her father was reportedly financially successful, working long hours in New York City, which has supported a comfortable lifestyle and property ownership. According to a source, she has a brother, a father who has been arrested for DUI, and a mother who seems out of it, and a huge house so full of wealth. We'll take a look at the DUI issue and other alleged wrongdoings leveled against her father a little later in this video. Additionally, her maternal mother reportedly moved into the Connecticut home a few years ago before developing dementia, providing additional family support.
Gabriella said, "You're adorable, Grandma." Yeah.
While her grandmother was staying with them, there were clips where viewers noticed what sounded like a screaming match between Deb, Eugenia's mother, and her grandmother.
Anyways, yeah, do you guys hear screaming? I know. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But anyway.
Eugenia heard the screams, but didn't stop to check on what was happening until she saw a few comments from her fans pointing out the screaming.
Go check on your grandma. I can go check, guys. I think she's gonna be fine. But
some people speculated that her grandmother was having an argument with her mother, but Eugenia tried to assure them that it was nothing serious and that her grandmother would be fine.
she won't typically start screaming, but she'll kinda, like, I think, like freak out about things pretty easily.
But the question is, what made her freak out and scream, or who provoked her to that point? She seems like a very nice old lady. Could it be dementia causing the behavior? A source describes dementia as follows. As the disease progresses, people with dementia may behave differently and act aggressively or become angry. It is helpful for caregivers to be understanding and compassionate. So yes, it is possible that dementia played a role, but it seems like someone surely provoked her into it. This is not an isolated occasion. It has happened before. Eugenia usually goes on a live video for hours So the possibility of something like that happening while she was streaming on Twitch is very high.
Most important. And this won't suck your hair in, and it won't make it so you have all your hair sucked into a machine. And yeah, basically.
But what worried most people in this situation is that Eugenia does not seem to react whenever her grandmother screamed. She just continued doing whatever she was doing as if she did not hear her grandmother being in distress. And even if it is something that has happened before, if it is just her grandmother being her usual self and screaming or whatever, generally people would want to go check on her granny if she's doing all right. However, this wasn't quite the case with Eugenia, and this somehow seemed quite disturbing to a lot of them.
Now, just in case you missed what the screaming was about, you can rewind and read the caption. Here it is. One person commented, "You're gonna kill her, but you want the money," followed by, "Be quiet." It was Deb who told Grandma to be quiet. Basically, Granny seemed upset with Deb for allowing or pushing Eugenia to stay on live video for hours just to get donations and make money. Another person supported this point, commenting, "Oddly enough, Eugenia's grandmother did not like Eugenia's mother as much as she did her granddaughter, Eugenia. Eugenia's mother might be controlling Eugenia to settle the score with her own mother somehow." While I agree with Deb is controlling and using Eugenia, I don't think she's specifically trying to get back at her grandmother by pushing Eugenia to keep streaming when she's not well enough to stay on camera for that long. It seems more like selfish interest from Deb. And I'm sure she's the one managing Eugenia's social accounts and controlling the money that comes in and goes out. Probably seeing Eugenia as nothing more than a tool for cash. And for those who think Deb isn't as involved as people claim, take a look at this and let me know what you think. Clearly, that's her mother holding the camera, most likely cheering her on and showing her how to pose to get a better shot for her fans. While Eugenia's grandmother is very sweet to her, we've seen a time when Eugenia said something nasty about her grandmother.
My grandma's probably the craziest of everybody. She will always just call the house on different holidays and wish us a happy whatever day that it's not. I think it was Halloween. And she called and she was like, "Merry Christmas." She'll also call on days when it's not any of our birthdays.
Just because her grandmother has dementia and can't remember much doesn't make it okay for Eugenia to make light of her ailment. I don't find it nice that she did this, especially when her grandmother was doing all these things involuntarily. She's not crazy. She has dementia and is simply old to the point where she can't function as she used to. Eugenia has also made some comments about her brother.
My brother is 17 years old. I know a lot of people like Disney, but he's like obsessed with Disney. We go to Disney World.
She even went as far as labeling her whole family as crazy.
I kind of realized that all of my family is kind of crazy too, in their own ways, and I just figured I would talk about some of the ways in which they are crazy today.
So yeah, Eugenia's immediate family is quite strange, with her mother seemingly at the center of everything. But what about her extended family? Does Eugenia have any contact with them?
I honestly don't even know most of my family members. I really only know like my immediate family, like my parents and my grandma, for the most part, and my brother, obviously.
It seems that, for some reason, she has been shut out from her other family members. And this could seem normal, as many of us only occasionally see our uncles and aunties growing up due to everyone's busy schedule. But it stops sounding normal once you hear her say this.
Have occasionally seen my aunt and my uncle. Last time I saw them, they were like telling me how I should leave the internet because the internet is just such a scary world.
Now it makes a lot of sense. If Deb puts so much importance in social media and makes a lot of money from it, it's understandable that she would feel her immediate family members were trying to cut off her source of income by saying those kind of things to her daughter. Eugenia has been on social media for over a decade, starting when she was around 17 years old. Having someone that young online for that long can have a lasting negative impact, especially given how she looked. So yes, her aunties and uncles have a point in saying what they said. Social media can be a scary place, with the lure of money making it even more tempting. So, does Eugenia's dad share the same sentiment? And what role did he play in her life that contributed to where she is today?
I'm sorry to disturb you.
No problem.
Okay, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Looking wonderful.
From their conversations, it's clear that her father had no issue with her streaming. Based on the information I gathered, he is usually away from home working in New York. Eugenia is around her mother more, but whenever her father is home, he makes sure to compliment her and make her feel good. Well, that's not a bad thing to do. He was never against her online presence either.
Bratty, I love you.
Day over 14.
Really?
Yeah.
You think I look 14?
Maybe 15?
15? Really?
It's a bit strange to hear him say that. It's more or less like a compliment. But saying she looked 14 was definitely over the top, considering she was around 25 at that time. If Eugenia's grandmother could see and understand that what's being done to her is wrong, how is it that Deb or Kevin, her dad, can't see it or try to put an end to it, or at least make sure she gets proper help? And being busy at work is no excuse for not being there for Eugenia. The comments were not having it. Someone said, why does she kind of cover nervously to him? And why does he always comment on her appearance?
I'm on you now.
You look good.
Thanks.
Alright, I don't want to disturb you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Her interaction is quite weird. Why does he feel the need to compliment her looks at every chance he gets? And this ties back to what I said earlier about Eugenia, finding her old pictures quite cringy and unattractive. She is constantly brainwashed by her parents, receiving compliments about her current appearance, to the point where she's lost touch with reality.
Hazel also made a great observation about the situation, saying, it's weird how they seem like strangers to each other. Each time she seemed uncomfortable. That's most likely because he's never home as much as he should be, always away, making their relationship as weird and distant as it can get. Even someone who claimed to be a therapist found their interaction to be quite odd.
Do you want to say hi?
Sure, huh?
Oh, actually, you actually want to say hi? Like, legit?
Oh, not really.
Oh, okay. I was like, no way.
In this video, she wanted to take her dog for a walk, which led to a weird situation between them. Someone made a comical comment about the situation, saying, taking the dog for a walk, yet she's the one wearing the collar. But aside from the weird interaction between Eugenia and her father, there have been many terrible or unspeakable things documented and said about him in the past. These are alleged, by the way. One particular allegation stems from an old piece from decades ago with the headline, "Man granted special probation after facing wife-beating charge." The piece began with Kevin Cooney, the Darien man accused in January of choking his wife and threatening police officers with a knife. After the whole incident escalated, Kevin was sentenced to 2 years of accelerated probation. It was also reported that he and his wife had already made amends and were on good terms. After he was charged with turning his wife into a punching bag, it turns out it wasn't his wife who called the police, but rather a neighbor who heard the commotion coming from their house. According to the piece, Darien police were called when the Cooney's neighbor phoned to say that Cooney's wife, wearing a black dress, said they had reconciled. In line with what we mentioned earlier about Kevin working in New York, the piece stated, Kofsky said Cooney's arrest stemmed from a very isolated incident, which occurred because Cooney, a trader with a Manhattan firm, has a penchant for drinking too much.
Yeah, based on this source, Kevin seemed to have quite some dark history. Eugenia was born into a home that was in some ways faulty in its foundation, And one can only hope that Eugenia has never personally experienced what was ever done to her mother.
Regardless of how bad her father was, even with what might be a better or more mature version of him now, Deb, Eugenia's mother, is the one of most people identify as the main problem in Eugenia's life and progress. To give you the full picture, let's take a look at this post from a Reddit user and then examine and investigate all the allegations. The account began by giving a little background. I used to give Eugenia's mother a benefit of the doubt. I figured that she had probably tried to get her daughter help on several occasions and didn't know what else to do. I even entertained the possibility that she was scared Eugenia would cut her out of her life if she forced her into treatment. Based on the recent past with Eugenia's 5150, her brief stint in recovery, and her catastrophic relapse, I have come to the conclusion that there is probably abuse going on. And how did we get here? Let's start from the genesis.
In the last video, she said that if you guys got to 10,000 likes, then she would make me preppy.
This was one of the oldest videos posted on Eugenia's YouTube channel, dating back to 2016, and this just shows how long her mother has been around, helping and pushing Eugenia in her content creation journey.
One of the things that always gains engagement for Eugenia is her looks. On social media, the more people comment, react with likes, and share a video, the more traction it gets. With Eugenia's appearance, people are often tempted to post comments about her well-being. If that's the kind of currency driving traffic, it's no wonder Eugenia has only looked worse and thinner over the years.
Her daughter is literally sitting there on live, dying. And there's a video somebody reposted of her my life story thing on a whiteboard. She talks about how her mom literally kept her in a bucket.
Nearly everyone you ask has something to say about Deb and her continual support for Eugenia to keep making content. But then, not being on social media could also have an impact on Eugenia, considering she's been on these platforms for more than a decade and truly loves what she does. She even declined a modeling offer because she was told to leave her social media. Well, it's fine for her to keep creating content, but I think her parents should regulate it until she is fully healthy and not spending hours on live video at a stretch. Deb didn't only encourage this behavior, she also made fun of her.
How is your mom okay watching you wilt away? She's not. My mom lives with me. She knows that I'm fine.
I know she eats. She takes good care of herself.
Exactly. See? Exactly.
Happens to be skinny mini, but she does take
exactly.
We're
all different.
But she does take good care of herself.
Exactly.
Was that meant to be a joke or something? It seemed like her mother wasn't really concerned about how she looked, even claiming that she's fine while looking like fat.
Guys, no, my mom's not concerned about my weight. No, that was their question.
I've known her my whole life.
Just like I thought, she's not concerned about her daughter's weight at all. Her mother even went as far as saying she knows all of Eugenia's medical history and is sure her daughter is perfectly fine health-wise. But is this really the person she's claiming is fine and doing well? There she is, trying to pretend she's fine while holding back a cough. This is just unreasonable. But then, like anyone else, a cough could simply be a natural side effect of something she's reacting to. If another creator who looks healthy coughs on stream, no one would bat an eye or make a big deal out of it. But for Eugenia, any small issue on stream will be blown out of proportion. And rightly so. Still, the way she tried to hide it with a smile is what made the whole situation feel very weird. And sometimes, just to prove to her fans that she's healthy, she does some stupid things that are asked of her.
This? How do people do push-ups? Oh my gosh, this is hard. Ah! How do you do it? Oh my gosh, how do people do this?
It looked almost like she was going to break in two while trying that stunt. It's hard to say if she has any viable muscle left. Trying to please her fans with such a push-up will not only put her in harm's way. Where was her mother while all this was happening? Well, given how she treats Eugenia, one would wonder if she's even her biological child. Just look at Deb's face here.
I can use the lighter one then, or you think I need more?
You don't have any redness,
Yeah, I
so
don't
let's
think
go
I
with the
do
light
too much
one.
of that. Okay. So, where do you put it? Like,
It looks like Deb doesn't want to be there. She's probably trying to appear supportive. That facial reaction might not have been noticed if her face hadn't been so close to the camera.
where do you put it? Like, do you just use your finger again?
You just use your finger
Okay.
and go wherever you have redness.
Okay, so...
Which for me,
The funny thing is, Deb isn't intentionally making all these faces. She's subconsciously doing it based on how she feels, without thinking about the fact that she's on camera. She seems exhausted with the whole conversation with Eugenia and can't wait to leave or presents to start spending the revenue made from her streams.
Okay, so...
which for me is my two cheek areas. So
So-
that's pretty much where I put it,
Got it.
on my cheeks.
So I guess I just do the
Exactly.
same thing.
Same thing.
Wow, yeah, it's like legit green.
Yes.
Nice.
This is Halloween. Happy Halloween.
It is like Halloween. How much do you need to put on to like...
Just cover the redness.
Okay.
Oh man, that is so sad. Look at that fake laugh. Someone even pointed it out, saying, "I love the absolute fake laughter, not even trying to hide it," and then immediate back to a pathetic face right after. I think Deb is just putting on an act, but is the act for the audience or her daughter? Is she trying to make it seem like she's happy to be there? Or is she just being unnecessarily mean to Eugenia? It doesn't add up that she would behave like this on camera.
So like...
Just cover the redness.
Okay. I
Okay,
guess my
that's
redness
good.
is gone,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yay.
Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
This is the kind of mother Eugenia has. It's no wonder she hasn't truly gotten better after so many years. One person perfectly summed up what Deb said. "I see jealousy here." When the mom says, "Yeah, you," twice, it was with malice. As if to say, everything is about you, Eugenia, isn't it? Yeah, I think the mom resents her in some way. So sad.
I'm sure they're making more than enough money to finance a lasting treatment for her. However, there might be a reason why they're keeping Eugenia the way she is right now. Because let's just accept that that is her brand and everything revolves around it. Without that, the interaction and the engagement on her platform might be way less than what it is right now.
Someone felt sorry for Eugenia and said, "That's what a narcissist mother looks like. Narcissists hate their children. They can barely disguise their contempt and disgust for them. They enjoy humiliating and mocking them. But how they are in public is nothing compared to in private. Yes, if Deb can behave like this publicly, where everyone can see her, imagine how she treats Eugenia in private when camera isn't rolling." Another person offered a medical perspective. "My psychologist once told me that anorexia has a lot to do with subconscious issues with your mother figure. And it's true how much of a difference having a mentally stable mother makes in dealing with your mental problems. A good mother will never let her child perish in front of her own eyes." What is anorexia, by the way, if you're wondering? It's an eating disorder characterized by restriction of food intake, leading to low body weight, typically accompanied by intense fear of gaining weight and disturbed perception of body weight and image. This is what most people have agreed is the main cause of what's affecting Eugenia over the years. But given the severity of the issue, is there a treatment for this ailment? According to a source, treatment for anorexia involves a combination of talking therapy and supervised weight gain. It's important to start treatment as early as possible. This will reduce the risk of serious complications and increase your chances of recovery. The fact that her mother has always been unconcerned about her ailment and her father is never around to take the necessary action means Eugenia risks remaining in this situation long term if nothing changes soon. And here's why I say that.
I wish Eugenia could be like this again. Well, too bad, because she's not probably ever going to be like that again, so too bad. Sorry.
This is why therapy is a key part of treating anorexia. Beyond addressing the trauma from discrimination and bullying over her body, a mindset shift is also crucial. If she truly believes she will never get well and is bold enough to say it publicly, then something is fundamentally wrong with her psyche. A psyche well cultivated by her mother, of course. How was her mother able to do this after all? By controlling Eugenia. There are even speculations that Eugenia is usually not allowed to go out even.
Oh, she's awake. I woke her up. Hey, Mom!
So why would her mother think it's okay to have a bell next to her door just to know whenever she's going outside her room? This is someone who was in her 20s at that time and currently 30 years old and has absolutely no freedom to do things on her own. Her mother has basically made Eugenia totally dependent on her.
Oh my god. How do some people hit the ball? How do people open a beach chair? How do people, like, is this like what everyone uses, like when they go? Gosh, you guys. Oh, I'll call her. I don't know how to clean it. I don't know what products to use, and I don't want to make it worse.
She appeared unable to handle even basic chores, something critics point as a result of her upbringing and dependence on her mother. And as long as she remains dependent on her mother, she will have no freedom of her own. Eugenia has always needed Deb's permission to go outside the house.
Hey, Mom! Did you hear about the moon? Is it that? Everyone's telling me I need to go see it. Oh, okay. Alright, let's look through. We're just gonna look through the window, guys.
For some reason, her fans wanted Eugenia to go outside her home and watch the moon. It was an eclipse or something. However, Deb strictly told Eugenia that she did not have the permission to go outside her house, so Eugenia just had to stay in her room and watch the moon from her window. I'll do this part again. This was a sad moment, and on many occasions we've seen Eugenia being begged by her fans to seek help and get healthy, like this particular person who joined her life.
Not gonna lie, I care, like, really bad. I really do care about you, Eugenia.
Thank you.
I'm really worried for you and scared.
She was feeling so sad for Eugenia and thought that maybe if she poured her heart out and tried to advise her to seek help, Eugenia might actually do something about it.
Scared.
Oh no, Drexel!
And I don't want anything to happen to you. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I don't want anything to happen.
Like make you cry or anything like that. I feel like really bad.
You could see that she was a little surprised that this lady felt so emotional about her situation. Eugenia was probably thinking the lady was taking the whole thing too seriously and that she would be just fine, just like her mother always told her, and just her father always tell her she looked pretty. But Eugenia later admitted that she felt bad that the person was feeling this way because of her.
I feel bad. Like
No, don't feel bad. Don't. That's another thing about you, Eugenia. You're so damn sweet and caring and shit, and people take that too much to advantage. Like,
even with all this going on, Eugenia still had a few close friends she would occasionally go out with places to, where they could all have fun. They felt bad for her and decided to do something to save her. In February of 2019, led by Jacqueline Glenn, a popular YouTuber, they conducted an intervention for her that led to Eugenia taking a break from social media and reportedly seeking treatment. Everything seemed fine for some months, until a video appeared on Shane Dawson's YouTube channel. Shane explains how his first real breakthrough with Eugenia happened, and honestly, you can tell this moment meant a lot to him.
So I reached out to her, and she was like, I've been dealing with stuff, but I am gonna get help.
Now, if you followed Eugenia for a while, you'll know that's like seeing a unicorn tap dance on a rainbow. Because it just doesn't happen. Eugenia never admits that she needs help and she isn't doing well. Eventually, Shane went to her house and met with her. On first glance, it seems like she's doing better. She looks more energetic and less frail.
Yep,
Whoa.
this is our house.
This is crazy.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
I've never seen this. Have you not shown this in videos?
I actually haven't really.
During the house tour, Shane asked Eugenia if she had gotten any contact from friends while she was recovering, and this was her response.
Like some people that like never really said anything to me like before, but then like later on were kind of like bullying me into like trying to make like decisions for me.
I guess she was talking about some of her so-called friends, people she thought were her friends, or those who at least pretended to be. It's possible she was referring to her friends who ganged up on her and staged an intervention that put her on this path of recovery. She also admitted to not having very good self-esteem, which is why she's always been so critical of her old pictures and videos.
I don't know. I guess I've never really had like the highest self-esteem, which, you know, I'm trying to like...
For the first time in her life, I guess she was being honest with herself and her viewers. She also came clean about the allegations leveled against her and admitted to the lies that she and her mother had fed their audience for years by insisting that nothing was wrong with her.
So yes, I was like dealing with an eating disorder.
What most people don't know is that eating disorders cover a wide range of conditions, and there are different types. Some eating disorders lead to overeating, causing obesity, while others lead to situations like Eugenia's. According to this source, eating disorders are behavioral conditions characterized by severe and persistent disturbance in eating behaviors and associated distressing thoughts and emotions. They can be very serious conditions affecting physical, psychological, and social function. Types of eating disorders include anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, other specified feeding and eating disorder, pica, and rumination disorder. All of these disorders have different ways of manifesting in the person they afflict. So what made things worse for Eugenia is the internet, basically. We could see that before her fame on the internet, she looked a lot better. She admitted to this in the documentary.
There was like certain people that would like make videos about me and like talk about my body a little bit. It kind of like was really affecting me like really badly.
So the moment she left the internet and sought help, things started to get better for her.
In like rehab kind of program for it, and it was a really kind of weird
Eugenia went on to describe her experience in rehab, saying it was a very strange period for her as she was monitored during meals and even when going to the toilet to ensure she or others didn't do anything they weren't supposed to.
As long as you're, I guess, like following the program and following the rules, then you can kind of like slowly earn privileges back.
This Shane video was her public comeback moment, and immediately after its release, she began uploading again to her YouTube channel, posting on Instagram, and streaming on Twitch. Before that, during her 5 to 6 month break after the February 2019 intervention, she had completely stopped posting on all platforms, except for one brief Feb note saying she was taking a break. But just when we thought this was the beginning of something great, we had no idea more trouble was on the way. Not long after the video of Eugenia's return to social media was posted, many people were happy for her and her recovery. However, her friends who had staged the intervention that pushed her to seek help felt their efforts were undermined by Eugenia.
There's a lot in that video that was untrue.
For one, she didn't acknowledge or appreciate that they tried to help, and she also claimed that some friends had bullied her into seeking treatment. Even though Eugenia didn't say any of their names, they felt it was directed towards them. While they were careful about what they said so as to not hurt Eugenia too much, they decided it would be best to finally let everything out for the world to see.
She has right now a seemingly beautiful recovery story that I don't want to mess with.
This video was posted a day after the Shane interview dropped in 2019, so they were likely taken aback by the content of the documentary. They didn't take much time to reflect on the situation before posting a response video. Jacqueline acknowledged that Shane Dawson didn't have a hand in the misinformation and genuinely only wanted to help Eugenia and share her recovery journey.
The video that he posted was so frustrating and hurtful to me, and I have stayed very silent for a long time.
Jacqueline also shared that she had been hurt for a long time and had stayed silent about what was going on in Eugenia's home before the intervention because she was told that if she went public with those damning allegations and the truth, Eugenia might be hurt and withdrawn.
The situation her life has been manipulated for years, and it's currently still being manipulated.
This manipulation he's talking about must be why she saw the intervention as bullying. But Eugenia didn't realize that without the intervention and the so-called bullying, she wouldn't have gone for help.
But then I also have good people in my life that genuinely really did care.
In the Shane documentary, she referred to these kinds of people as the good people in her life, right after calling those trying to help her bullies.
PewDiePie actually made a video where he mentioned me, and he sent all his fans to come over and be really loving and supportive.
Regardless of whether the guy told his fans to be supportive, people will eventually behave like trolls. Eugenia's level of thinking and understanding of supportive seems to be someone who shows no effort in helping her to get well physically or health-wise, but rather someone who will send her in more toxic trolls to bully her page to the point where she's mentally unwell. If you remember earlier, Eugenia said that negative comments online were one of the reasons her mental health was deteriorating before she went to the rehab.
There was certain people that would make videos about me and talk about my body a little bit. It kind of was really affecting me really badly.
So yeah, it will definitely hurt knowing that you are being made to look like the villain when you're only trying to help. In the Shane documentary, someone else was on it to give a medical perspective of what's happening with Eugenia, and this is Katie Martin.
That's not the goal. The goal is to help her tell a story that's beneficial for everybody.
Katie Martin is a silence therapist and YouTuber with almost 1.5 million subscribers on her channel. She uses her platform to create a mental health awareness community where people can talk, interact, and learn. Turns out Jacqueline had already sent Katie a message around early February before the intervention regarding the challenges Eugenia was facing.
I know Katie Morton. I've reached out to her. I have emails with her.
And during this video, Jacqueline shared the screenshot of the message she sent to Katie. Well, it was quite a long one. As you can see from the screenshot, the date of the top is February 3. An excerpt from the email reads, "Called BET, and they can't go to her place to do the 5150, since they are not law enforcement and need permission to enter the house, which they will never get from her mom. They also want me to be in the house with her when they arrive, which won't happen for the same reason. And also, I can't get hold of her. Called the police, and they've been there several times. When I mentioned her address, the response was, 'Oh, that YouTube girl. Yeah, we've been there. Apparently, they say she's fine.' I know, ridiculous. But since she's not suicidal and doesn't want help, they legally can't do anything. Even the psychiatric department has visited her and had the same conclusion, which blows my mind." Just for clarity, the ET is a psychiatric emergency team, and 5150 refers to the process where a doctor, a mental health professional, or even a family member can have someone involuntarily committed to a mental health department facility.
What this means is that there have been more efforts from Eugenia's friends to get her help from her own mother or family, and despite trying all of this and getting no results, they were still not ready to give up on Eugenia. So, Jacqueline decided to lure Eugenia out of her house to do the 5150. And all of these efforts, of course, were made purely out of love, just so she could get well. However, Eugenia saw it as a hostile threat.
Katie responded to Jacqueline's email saying, "I agree that the best move is to just get her out of the house and with you, so you can call the pet team and or to get her to see a doctor. Whatever she will be open to."
Lied to her. We all kind of did. We pretended we were going to go to an escape room, which is a thing that we would regularly do.
Here was the chat between them that they used to convince Eugenia and her mother to let her out of the house. Once they managed to get Eugenia to Jacqueline's place, the intervention began. Eugenia didn't want to agree to help that was suggested and claimed she would get help in a few months. So, her friends did what they had to do and called the PET without her consent to evaluate her.
Interviewed her. They asked her questions.
We left the room for that part.
We left the room just for privacy of...
We wanted her to open up and be honest with them.
After the evaluation and questioning, it was decided that Eugenia had to seek mandatory help without her consent. Since Eugenia was no longer a minor, it was legal to proceed without her parents' approval. When Deb heard what Eugenia's friends had done after Eugenia called her, she became frustrated and angry, called them all sorts of names, and even contacted the police to accuse them of kidnapping Eugenia.
He called the cops on me and tried to have me arrested for kidnapping.
Correct.
So, when Eugenia was trying to leave, we had 2 sets of cops show up.
The 2 sets of cops talked it out, ending to arrest the friends, and Eugenia was taken back into mandatory help. It turns out Deb had a driver, which is how she was able to keep track of Eugenia's movements. As a stay-at-home mom, Deb kept a bell by Eugenia's door, as you've seen earlier in this video, so that if she tried to sneak out, she would know immediately. And anytime she wanted Eugenia to go somewhere, she would have this driver to take her, so he would keep tabs on her and report back to Deb. Deb is a total control freak, as you can see.
They were always together, so it's difficult to imagine a scenario in which her mother wasn't watching every move.
And if you're thinking that maybe her friends might have exaggerated or gone too far with how they approached their intervention, listen to this.
I just don't know how, if I had a daughter, that I would let it get that far without doing something myself.
She hadn't been to a doctor in 5 years.
That's just crazy. These are Eugenia's closest friends who have tried their best to make sure she gets help. There's no reason for them to lie at this point, which means that if she hadn't seen a doctor in 5 years, the last time must have been when she was around 20. Since she was about 25 at the time, that period coincided with her fame skyrocketed online, which could explain why her mother didn't want her to get help, because if she got better, there would be no more controversy to keep people talking.
Yes, it was the right thing to do, but deciding to do that, we knew, that was the end of our friendship with her.
They knew there was no way Eugenia, and especially Deb, would ever allow her to go out with them again after what they did. But it was a sacrifice they were willing to make, just to see her get well. They probably hoped that after rehab, Eugenia would see the good in what they did and stop holding a grudge. But even after rehab, Eugenia didn't see their actions as right. After this betrayal, I don't think Deb would allow Eugenia to keep any more friends, likely putting her on even stricter lockdowns so she could spend more time streaming and making money for the family.
What would you have done? Just sit and done nothing? We couldn't anymore because we just kept seeing her get thinner and we were scared.
What was the comments' reaction? This person said, "If there was one thing I learned from my mental health journey, it is, You cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. And that's spot on. That's the most frustrating part for her friends. She's back in the same place that made her sick, and yet they're the ones being painted as the bad guys. Another person said, I want to know why Eugenia's mother has never been held accountable for what's happening. Well, the reason is that Deb hasn't technically committed any crime. There is no law against inaction. Her daughter needed help and she didn't find it. If Eugenia were underage and not a legal adult, something could have been done. But she's an adult and has given all her rights and consent to Deb, who now controls them, unfortunately. After that video was posted on Jacqueline's page, neither Eugenia nor her mother made a direct public response to the allegations. Eugenia continued streaming and posting as usual, and on rare occasions when the topic came up in chat, she would deflect or give vague answers. Eventually, in January 2020, months after the video was released, Eugenia appeared on Katie Martin's YouTube channel for an interview. The same Katie that Jacqueline emailed, and the same Katie that appeared on Shane Dawson's documentary. The beginning of the video was an attempt to whitewash Deb of the so much negative attention that she has been getting for some time.
She was kind of, I guess, seeing that I was having a problem and that it was, I guess, getting to not the best point.
Yeah, she worried about you.
Yeah, and then she was like worried and
if you ask me, her mother most likely put her up to this. I'm also sure that with Eugenia being brainwashed by Deb, she probably saw reason to try to repair her mother's image after the damning allegations made by her friends.
You know, she would just kind of be like, I think like still concerned, but I guess you can't really force anyone to.
This feels like a jab at her ex-friends by forcing her into getting the help she needed to be healthy. What Eugenia is subtly trying to say is that she's the reason she hasn't gotten treatment for so long, because she wasn't ready, and that it wasn't her mother's fault. She implies her mother didn't force her into it at all, but as we've seen in previous live videos shown earlier, her mother has outright said that her daughter was healthy and need no help.
She like had a conversation with me of just like, you know, like you really like need to like stop this. You know, actually she was kind of like crying that morning, and it makes me feel really bad seeing that, because
of course.
Now, if you think this video isn't a way to make her mother look good, something is seriously wrong with the way you reason. Oh, so the same mother who has always been controlling, annoying, and mean in front of the camera suddenly is saying to cried and has done all she could get Eugenia the best treatment? Give me a break. Eugenia claimed that after her mother cried her eyes out, she decided to agree to seek help.
So that was actually what our plan was going to be, and actually we were going to go back to Connecticut for me to like start this, because
and there are some good treatment centers over there though.
And according to Eugenia, the plan was to visit a doctor in Connecticut for the very first time in a long while. This was what her friends had emphasized months ago when they posted their video.
First time ever in her life admitted that there might have been a problem and that in a few months she would see a doctor.
But Eugenia and her media team, and her mother, of course, would have surely watched her friends' video to avoid making any mistake in what she would say in Katie's interview. What if Eugenia lied about seeing a doctor in a few months just so her friends would leave her alone? Or what if that lie is now being used to spin a new story that paints her friends as the bad guys? Or maybe, even if it is true, she could have been in a critical condition if she hadn't gotten help immediately. Eugenia went on to say that they were unconcerned about her health before the intervention.
It was like one time, maybe like a couple of years ago, where two of them like texted me like one thing, and at the time I kind of was just like, oh, I'm fine, like whatever.
Like don't worry.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it.
I don't know much about this, but from my perspective, and based on what her friends said, they were always careful to not pester her about her health because they knew she would distance herself from them. This is someone who would isolate herself if controversy started circulating about her, or if people online advised her to get help, and she would become emotional, when faced with such comments.
You are way smaller than 2014. Forever Skelly, like, regardless, I don't really see why it matters. I think I'm, like, pretty much the same size, but I don't really see why it matters. You are way skinnier now than in 2014 vids. Well, Forever Skelly, I think I've always pretty much been, like, around the same size, but even if I was, I don't really see why it would matter. Like, I don't really see why it matters anyway.
She doesn't see why it matters that she looks the way she does, so it's understandable that her friends are careful about bringing up the matter too often. And one of her friends told the mental health professional who came to evaluate Eugenia that most of what she said sounded like it was coming from a script, meaning she was programmed to say those things without even realizing it.
I think one of them even said that, like, I have, like, a script of what I say. Like, I always say the same thing, like, I'm gonna get help, I'm gonna do this. And
some of it could be influenced by home, and it could also be that Eugenia says those things as a defense mechanism to avoid going for treatment. Since many people in her situation tend to procrastinate or fear getting help, but one thing stood out. Her friend said Eugenia called her mother to tell her what was happening, yet Eugenia never mentioned that in her story. She also didn't mention that her mother called the police on her friends. Could it be that she doesn't want to make her mother look bad with her reaction that day? Or could it be that her friends are lying?
we just kind of ended up, like, flying right back to Connecticut.
Okay, good.
And I did end up meeting with a doctor. And
after Eugenia was taken away from her friend's place, she was placed in a psych facility for almost 2 days before her mother came to take her out, flew her to see a doctor, and then had her sent to rehab from there. Someone raised an important point from what Eugenia said. It's extremely concerning. Eugenia basically said she doesn't go to therapy and isn't getting more help. This is what the person was talking about, by the way.
Still in therapy then?
so right now, I guess I'm not really, like, in, like, a super constant therapy or anything like that.
What Eugenia was basically saying was that she had stopped therapy and was focusing on being on her own and recovering from the stress of rehab. She also said she would only contact a therapist when she felt the need to.
When I ever, like, do feel like I'm struggling or, like, need to talk to somebody, then luckily I did meet, like, a therapist where, like, she was really nice when I was in that program, and I'm able to, like, talk to her.
So, no more treatments, no more therapy. She's in recovery, and everything that helped her to get to that point has been stopped. This is a recipe for disaster. Eugenia is back in the home that made her sick. So what do you expect? Another person pointed something else out, saying, "It's so disheartening to hear Eugenia only stayed for less than a month in inpatient and isn't continuing outpatient therapy."
I was there actually, like, I think, like, about a month, so it wasn't too...
Even though Eugenia was away from the social media for about 5 to 6 months, she only received help for 1 month, and since then, she had been at home. Until she did the Shane Dawson documentary. Someone else shared a more disheartening story about their experience. This was uncomfortable to watch. I don't really know this girl, but she's in mad denial. It's very, very sad. I lost a friend to this disease. She eventually went into organ failure and died. She was only 29. I hope Eugenia realizes she needs help before it's too late. I saw a recent video of her and she looks very ill. She is all bones. It's so sad. This is because Eugenia surrounds herself with people who lie to her, people who tell her comforting lies instead of uncomfortable truth, people who feed off her, and people who care more about what they can gain from her than about what will make her healthy. And when talking about denial, this person puts it perfectly. The fact that she says the mental health professional wouldn't believe her because it was a 4 versus 1 situation and not because she was on the brink of death is more telling to her current mental health than anything. She still believes she was fine in that moment, and anyone who would have seen her in that moment would know she wasn't. This is where she said that they ganged up on her.
I felt kind of, like, trapped then because I was kind of like, well, it's, like, how many people showed up, like 4 people, I guess. And it's kind of their word against my word, and chances are they're not going to take me too seriously.
She is mentally unwell, and this is being encouraged by her closest family. The fact that her friends had already done the dirty work of forcing her to get help should have been an opportunity for her family to ensure she received all the treatment needed for a full recovery. But no, she was taken out of the facility the moment they had the chance to bring her back home. They don't want her to get well, grow up, and be an independent adult as she should be. Instead, they want her living under their roof, streaming and continuing in a way that raises serious concerns about her well-being. Now, to get a clearer picture of the whole situation, let's rewind to 2019 when all the drama unfolded.
A lot of questions and concerns have been brought to my attention, which I completely expected. And I want to take the time to address a lot of those and answer a lot of your questions.
Days after Eugenia's friends posted the video exposing the truth about what happened, Jacqueline uploaded another video on her channel. Jacqueline's integrity was called into question, with many people asking things like, why would a friend do such thing? And why did she respond just the day after Eugenia posted a recovery video on Shane Dawson's channel? Questions like this one were also being asked. This pushed her to make this video. Someone asked why they had to share a personal story that wasn't theirs to share.
So that's why I made my video as fast as I could, because I was scared that this narrative would persist, that she is fine now, and I very much believe that she is not.
She said that she hadn't come out with personal details. The Shane Dawson documentary would have made it seem like Eugenia's home wasn't the problem. In fact, it painted it as a safe haven when in reality, it was a place of doom. And another reason Jacqueline and her friends felt they had to act was because people were pressuring them, saying that, as her friends, they should be doing something about the situation Eugenia was in. This way, if something bad were to happen to her in the future, they could at least know they did the best they could to help her.
If we didn't do that intervention, she would have died. And I know that that is a harsh thing to say.
That's possible because in the Shane video, Eugenia mentioned that doctors were amazed she had survived to the point without serious complications, calling it more or less a miracle.
Were the doctors just like, how are you, like how did you survive? Like, cause
honestly, yeah.
Eugenia went on to say that doctors told her she was lucky her body had been able to survive that long and that kind of fate. Now imagine if help hadn't given to her at that critical point. What would have been Eugenia's fate?
Some people say that, we saved her, and I do not think we saved her because she is still in the same environment.
This was what Jacqueline said in 2019 about the whole situation, because she knew that, apart from Eugenia living in denial and not being mentally fit to think straight, the problem also stemmed from the home she was still living in. Then Jacqueline went on to lay some serious allegations against Eugenia's mother. First, she claimed that Deb told her daughter to leave the house against the wishes of the mental health professionals.
The same mom who tried to have me arrested for kidnapping, the same mom who told her daughter to ignore authorities and run from mental health professionals, the same mother who never took her daughter to a doctor.
These are really bad allegations, so it's no wonder Eugenia went on Katie's podcast to try to clean up her mother's name. And the worst of all the allegations is this.
The mother who in countless YouTube videos has taken her daughter shopping, having her try on skimpy clothes, saying how cute she looked.
Oh wow, that's huge now. But if you think about it, Eugenia can't do much for herself now, can she? Her mother does almost everything for her. She buys her clothes, helps with cleaning, takes her shopping, and more. Though yes, Deb might have been the one buying her those short dresses, knowing they would attract certain people to her page if she dressed in a certain way. This is what she meant.
It's pretty cool. It has this thing in the front.
As we've already established, her mother is often on the other side of the camera and is fully aware of the kind of clothes her daughter is wearing online and how revealing they are. One thing is for sure, you can never please everybody. This person put it perfectly. For years, everybody said, "There are her friends. Why aren't they helping?" Everybody now was saying, "Oh my god, you so overstepped. It's not your place." Another person gave a different perspective. The fact she's been so underweight ever since she was a young child shows that she definitely has something to do with how her mom raised her. To an extent, that's true. Eugenia has always had an eating disorder since she was a kid. Her childhood pictures didn't show her as severely underweight as she appears today. Unfortunately, her current appearance drew online attention, which may have contributed to her not seeking help sooner. And that's what happened, because years later, Eugenia appeared once again visibly underweight, with her health still a concern. This is her in 2023.
Seriously, thank you so much for doing that. It really does mean a lot. And
can you see she looks worse now than she did when she went for treatment? This is what happens when you push away the people who try to help you and surround yourself with those who only tell you what you want to hear. She's now on Sloane's YouTube channel. Sloane, who had been one of her biggest critiques in the past for her life choices. Suddenly, he decided he had turned a new leaf and slid into her DMs to apologize.
I removed everything that I've ever made on Eugenia. I apologized privately, and I just wanted to publicly say it because...
Let me give you all a quick scenario. Let's say that I'm a fairly big YouTube creator with thousands of subscribers. I've made videos about a woman who is clearly unhealthy, advocating that she get the help she needs. After making tons of videos and earning a lot in revenue, an idea strikes me. Why not be on her side this time? I could use that angle to get her on my channel for an interview. She doesn't necessarily have real friends, so something like that would be enticing to her. I'm not saying this is what actually happened. This is just a fictional story I imagined. He then asked her about her reaction to the petition to deplatform her from social media.
when you start doing that to people, it kind of goes past just having an opinion or hating or whatever, because you're actually trying to remove them off their platform.
Over the years, there have been many petitions created to take down Eugenia. This one has almost 900 signatures aimed at shutting down her pages. It didn't really do well as expected. Another petition, though now closed, managed to gather more than 50,000 signatures, which was actually their target. There is more to this particular petition, and I will give you more details on it now. When the petition was first published online in 2021, Jacqueline had something to say about it.
She reached out to me asking for me to support this petition that has been going around. Now, I did look at the petition and I agree with it.
According to the petition, YouTube states in its terms of service that YouTube doesn't allow content that encourages dangerous or illegal activities that risk serious physical harm or death. If this is the case, then it is reasonable to ask YouTube to remove Eugenia's content from their platform. While this sounds convincing, there is another problem, of course. Even though Eugenia is, in a way, showcasing her body, and some people might find it appealing or something to emulate, she is not actively promoting her slimness or her eating disorder.
Doing fine and everything. I'm not trying to say that oh, my body is healthy for everybody to have. I'm not.
This is the main reason why she wouldn't be deplatformed on YouTube when it comes to violating their terms and conditions.
Pastel Bell was reaching out to YouTube support and hoping that they would give a response. Unfortunately, they responded saying they don't see that it is a violation of their terms of service.
Yes, just like I thought. YouTube is always critical about how they operate, and someone usually has to be caught red-handed before they are temporarily or permanently removed from the platform. While TikTok, on the other hand, is an emotional lady who doesn't have her feelings in check. When there are a lot of complaints, whether justified or not, they might first restrict some features on the person's account, like the ability to go live, while they investigate. They can even suspend someone's account for the flimsiest of reasons. There was a time Eugenia was banned temporarily, most likely because she acted on live video with another creator.
Oh my god! Gypsy K506, they just knocked out Eugenia Cooney. Hold on, let me call 911.
She was acting as if she were extremely tired. This is someone people are genuinely worried could experience a serious medical emergency, which is understandably distressing for viewers. But on a more general note, Eugenia is always a kind, respectful, and lovely person. Sometimes she even apologizes when it is not her fault. If not for her well-mannered conduct online, many of the people supporting her today might have already deserted her, and she could have been in an even more terrible place. Despite this, Eugenia's pages are still active, except for brief periods when her ability to live stream was revoked. She even posted on her Instagram saying, "Was maybe gonna go live tonight, but my account is still all messed up again. Hopefully, I will be able to get it fixed soon."
Go see your doctor. I don't feel like I have to see a doctor right now, guys. Like, I've gone to doctors in the past, when I felt like I had to go. But right now I feel okay, so yeah.
Jacqueline posted this clip of Eugenia to show people what's really going on in her head and to highlight the extent of her denial. And honestly, I truly believe I've never seen anyone in such serious denial in my life. It's either that she's in denial or she's a non-apologetic liar, lying to people's faces when they can clearly see she's not telling the truth.
This flat-out denial of a problem. Whether or not she truly believes that, or she's just trying to pass that off to her audience as though she doesn't care and it doesn't bother her, I couldn't say.
In support of what Jacqueline is doing, this person gave her a heartfelt message. "Jacqueline, I know you won't hear this from Eugenia, but thank you for actually caring and refusing to enable an addict. I have a friend like you that helped me push through bulimia. People need to say no to people harming themselves. Eugenia needs to be banned so she cannot do body checks and hear thousands of people comment on how skinny she's gotten. Stay strong, Jacqueline." This is definitely a positive note for Jacqueline and her perseverance. While this person's disorder is different, bulimia is an eating disorder characterized by regular, often secretive periods of overeating followed by self-induced vomiting or purging. Jacqueline went on to blame Shane for the documentary he did after Eugenia's recovery from rehab. Shane has a large audience of young followers, and when he uploaded the video, it got about 40 million views. This, she argued, redirected vulnerable kids to Eugenia's page, kids who might idolize her and come to believe from her content that she's fine health-wise and that it's normal to look like her.
I'm never trying to encourage anyone to try to have my body or lose weight or anything like that.
Despite Eugenia saying she's not trying to influence anyone, her job description is essentially that of a social media influencer, just like Jacqueline said. Any influencer with millions of viewers will inevitably have some level of influence on those who watch, especially kids. Hopefully, those kids will pick up her well-mannered behavior of being respectful to people rather than trying to physically look like her. Jacqueline also shared a video where Eugenia rejected age restrictions on her content.
So there isn't really a reason for me to age restrict. The truth is, I'm not uploading content that is 18 plus.
Eugenia knows what her YouTube channel's analytics look like, and she's aware that most, or at least a large chunk of her followers are kids or young adults. Age restricting her content would basically be shooting herself in the foot.
That will kill you. It does. It has a high rate. This is no joke. This isn't some cute little thing.
This might sound too harsh to say if it's not factual, so I went digging, of course. According to the National Institute of Health, anorexia nervosa affects about 3% of young women and has the highest mortality rate of any psychiatric disorder, with approximately 5% of patients dying within 4 years of the diagnosis. Severe weight loss and malnutrition can cause widespread damage to organs that may persist over time, even if anorexia nervosa is ultimately well managed. Did you catch that? This means that if anorexia isn't managed in time, even if it's eventually given attention, the side effects can still be fatal. What happens is that when they don't eat, the body starts consuming stored fat. Without proper nutrition, the body eventually starts to break down essential tissue to keep functioning, which can lead to severely underweight appearance. And since the heart and other vital organs are made of muscles, this can lead to heart attacks and other fatal health complications. This is exactly what happened to Josie Maria, and Eugenia was asked about it on her live stream.
Love you so much. Did you know who is Josie Maria? If not, you should look into her story.
Oh, I heard a little bit about her, and I'm really, really sorry what happened to her. And like my prayers and love really go out to her and her family.
But who is Josie Maria? She was a German Instagram influencer who openly shared her battle with anorexia online. Josie passed away in late 2020 after reportedly developing circulatory problems during a flight. She was only 24 when she died. So this person on her live video was trying to bring her attention to Josie's case, hoping Eugenia might see the severity of her own situation and be motivated to get the help she needs to live as long as possible. But Eugenia just brushed off the conversation with her usual nice smile and high-pitched girly voice.
I think what happened with her is super, super sad, and it's a really, really sad topic. But anyways, no, I think like if people say that, I mean, I think it's really sweet that people like give me a compliment, and
And just like that, she was done with the topic, and back to talking about how nice it felt to get compliments from people on her video. How does she do that? She sent her condolences to the lady who died with so much sincerity, then switched topics immediately. Jacqueline talked about Josie used her platform to educate people on her condition and not deceive them as if what's wrong with her is nothing to worry about. Bringing awareness to people is very important.
They need to know the reality of it, and I'm not trying to be morbid, and neither was she. Shortly before she died, she talked about how this will kill people, and it killed her.
Everyone can do what they want with their platform, but what would be good to see people use their authority and fame to bring change and help others in situations like theirs. Eugenia also tried to talk about the intervention that happened back then, which made her go get mandatory help.
I do just kind of think, it was such like a crazy, like weird day to me, like that day.
From how she talked about it, she made it seem like it was the worst day of her life when it should have been the beginning of a healthier one. She also claimed that the event caused her to develop trust issues with people.
That thing happened, like it was so hard to like trust anybody because I'm like, like I just think I'm kind of going with like friends.
That's understandable for someone in her situation who feels she has to stay unhealthy to maintain her relevance both online and at home. There is no hope for Eugenia at this point. Even now, she sees no fault in what her mother has done to her and defends her at every chance she gets.
My mom really is a good person, and she's really done like nothing to deserve like all the harassment she gets.
Yeah.
And
Deb, if nothing else, is an enabler, someone who has allowed such a serious problem to progress to the point where even Eugenia believes she's perfectly fine as she is. After rehab in 2019 in the Shane documentary, we saw Eugenia admit she going to rehab was good for her and that she was truly dealing with an eating disorder. So why is she saying the opposite now?
Any reason why anyone should be concerned for you right now?
I really don't think that anyone has to be,
You're like don't worry.
Clearly, you can see that Sloan is talking to make her feel comfortable. I'm sure he didn't believe her when she said there is no need for concern. This is the same thing she used to say before she went to rehab. She's been brainwashed back into repeating this nonsense. Or maybe for once, We should hold Eugenia responsible for her actions. She was an adult at that time of the interview, almost 30 years old. There is no way she isn't reasonable enough at that stage to know right from wrong. And this is a sentiment that Jacqueline talked about in one of her videos.
She's been doing this for a long time, guys. She's been doing this for a long time. She knows what she's doing. And
yes, I agree. It's funny how most people still see Eugenia as some 18-year-old, frail girl who needs help, but she is not a kid anymore. And maybe if people started looking at her with a more mature perspective, they could make better decisions in how they interact with her.
the more I watch these videos and the more I see her do things like blocking people who criticize her. She's recently gone out of her way to try to have a small channel taken down that used clips from her Twitch stream that she felt made her look bad.
So yeah, Eugenia knows right from wrong. She is not as naive as most people think she is. Also, Jacqueline pointed out that Eugenia consciously does things intentionally that will attract people to follow her or watch her video.
Whenever she has a thumbnail that shows her body more in it, it gets a significant higher number of views. It's very apparent from just looking at her channel and seeing what she's uploaded that the videos showing more skin have twice, 3 times the views.
Jacqueline made it clear that she is not judging Eugenia for showing off her body, but brought up the topic so people understand that Eugenia is aware of what she's doing and aware that her unhealthy body is in some way good for clickbait. That could also be another reason why, subconsciously or even consciously, she doesn't want to get help. Look at what this person had to say about Eugenia and her content. I'll confess, I'm guilty of watching her content out of morbid curiosity. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, and it's morbidly interesting. I'm sorry for contributing to this. Most people are genuinely on her platform just to see how unreal her body looks, and nothing more. This is why Eugenia does a lot of body checking while streaming live. Someone else had a better idea. That's seriously the biggest thing. Stop clicking her videos. You know she's not okay right now. We don't need to check in on her, but people will still check on her no matter what. When the host asked Eugenia about her daily routine, this is what she had to say. He asked her, what do you do aside from streaming? But she responds that daily, almost around the clock, she's always online.
Definitely I will spend a lot of time kind of like between like filming, streaming, thinking of like ideas and just like, I guess social media in general could take up a lot of time. But besides that, I love like makeup and doing that.
If not live on TikTok, she's on Twitch. If not on Twitch, she's on YouTube. And the makeup she mentioned using to occupy her time is usually meant for her live appearances. She looks so frail from her eating disorder that she has to put on makeup to hide her true appearance. On top of that, she uses good filters to make sure her face looks presentable. Even with all that, people can still see through it. But she keeps living in constant denial, always smiling to cover the pain, always using makeup to hide the frailty, and maintaining a toxic positive mindset. According to this source, toxic positivity is the belief that people should maintain a positive mindset no matter how dire or difficult the situation is. While there are benefits to being optimistic and engaging in positive thinking, toxic positivity rejects all difficult emotions in favor of a cheerful and often falsely positive facade. This is exactly what Eugenia is doing, trying her best to convince herself that she's fine, even when she's not. Just to live to see the next day. At this point, we can only hope for the best for her. Many worry that instead of guiding her toward recovery, her family has played a role in sustaining these challenges. The situation continues to evolve, and we'll be here to see how it unfolds. Let me know if you see any hope for her, or if I'm just being too negative about all of this.
Well, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to comment. Bye bye!